The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Welcome to Getting to Know You. My name is Joe Nash. Today we're going to be talking about history, specifically Albany history. We're going to be talking with Samantha Hall-Saladino. She's the executive director of the Albany County Historical Association, who owns the Ten Broeck Mansion, and we're going to be talking about events going on down there this spring and summer, so welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So I know I don't want to confuse people. This is not the Albany home where the Schuyler sisters in Hamilton were all.
No, it is not. We do have a Hamilton connection, though.
Oh, okay.
We do. Dirk Ten Broeck, Abraham Ten Broeck's son, was a law clerk for Alexander Hamilton and was at his deathbed after the duel with Aaron Burr and wrote this fabulous letter back to his father in Albany about the whole experience.
Okay.
So.
Do some people confuse the two houses of the Schuyler Mansion?
Very rarely, but we do get some.
All right. Well, so General Abraham Ten Broeck, married to Elizabeth Van Rensselaer, famous names in our area. He was part of the Continental Congress, Battle of Saratoga, one of the commanders, right? He was a mayor of Albany, a lot going on. So tell us a little bit about, before we talk about events, a little bit of history of the house.
Sure. So the Ten Broecks built this mansion in 1798. It was not their original home. Their original home was located down around present-day Broadway and unfortunately burned in one of the big fires that happened in the late 18th century in Albany. So they had access to this property, Elizabeth being a Van Rensselaer.
It's up on the hill there.
Yes, and built, I call it their retirement home.
Okay.
So they moved in 1798, and Abraham died in 1810, and Elizabeth died in 1813. So they weren't there for very long.
And isn't it true that everyone knows this is on, the street is, what's the name of the street again? The mansion's on?
Ten Broeck Place.
Ten Broeck Place,
yes.
Right. Wasn't that called Waterville when it was built, that part?
Yes, it was not the city of Albany at all. It was very rural.
Yeah, it was called Waterville.
Yes.
So one of your big events is the Living History Day, which is going to be Sunday, May 5th from noon to 4. There's all kinds of events. There's tours, live music, demonstrations, pony rides, historical reenactments, etc. So this is one of your big days of the year. Is this like the official opening for the season?
It is. It's the kickoff of our summer season.
So when people come down, and this is also the opening when you're open, May through October, Thursday and Friday, Saturday and Sunday, tours leave on the hour. They're open from 10 to 4, and on weekends 1 to 4, and it's $5 admission, $4 for seniors. So if someone was to take a tour, what are some of the things they would see? What's highlighted on these tours?
One of the really unique pieces about the history of the mansion is that it was a private residence from 1798 to 1947. So each room has sort of its own
Was it continuously
era.
lived in?
Yes,
okay.
yes. Each room is sort of relates to a different time period in American style and history and architecture. So we tell the stories of these families that lived in the house and how that related to Albany.
And what happened in 1947?
The heir of the family that owned the house, the Olcott family, he passed away, and his heirs gave the house to the Albany County Historical Association. And
they ran it from the 40s
till now, yes, and hopefully for much longer into the future.
And one thing about the mansion, from 1947 till 1970 something, there was an undiscovered, why don't you tell the story of the undiscovered wine cellar?
So the Olcott family who purchased the house in 1848 were a very big collectors of wine and drinkers of wine. Some of their famous guests, like Martin Van Buren, would have enjoyed wine from their wine cellar. So they built this wine cellar in the mid-19th century, and Dudley Olcott, who was one of the residents in the 20th century, was faced with this national prohibition that had
Okay.
passed in January of 1919 would go in effect a year later in 1920. So he decided to close off the wine cellar, left fully stocked with collectible wine. It was grandfathered under the law, but perhaps he was a little bit nervous that it
So
might
that-
be seized.
They could have drank it if they wanted to.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Drinking alcohol was not illegal by
Yeah.
Prohibition law. It was the making and
Yeah.
selling. And nobody really knew about it. There are a few different versions of the story of some people did, but chose not to disclose the secret. But in the 1970s, they
It was
opened
open.
it up.
Is that part of the tour? Seeing the,
It is. You get to see. It's the last part of the tour is the wine cellar.
So the theme for not just Living History Day on May 5th, but for your season is called Albany in the Roaring Twenties. Now, at first I thought it was the 1820s because of the old Ten Broeck, but tell us about this theme and why that's going to be the ongoing theme for all your events for the year.
So as we were planning for 2019, we realized it was the centennial of the closing of the wine cellar, and we thought Prohibition. Everybody kind of loves that story. Albany has some great Prohibition history, but we didn't want to just pigeonhole ourselves into just that part of history. So we broadened it to the decade of the 20s, so we
Okay.
could touch on a lot of different topics.
Oh, okay. So on Living History Day, again, May 5th, noon to 4, there's going to be tours. Tell us about some of the other, you're going to have historical reenactors.
Yes, we have reenactors from all eras that come. Typically, Abraham Lincoln is there, so we hope he will come back again this year. We also will have live music of the era played by a local musician.
Okay, and I see you have a petting zoo and pony rides.
Yes.
And that must be always popular.
It
right?
is. Everybody loves the petting zoo. It doesn't matter your age.
I think you were telling me before we started that Abraham Lincoln was riding one of the ponies. Is that
Last year, he got on a pony, and somewhere we have a picture of Abraham
okay.
Lincoln on a pony.
And I should say that CDTA was going to have the trolley going between the mansion and the Cherry Hill House. They're having something the same day?
They do. Every year, we both have our
the same.
events on the same day. They have History Fair, and we have Living History
okay.
Day. So this year, we're partnering with them more and more and hoping people will go to both and make it a day of history in Albany.
Now, does the association have anything to do with the Cherry Hill?
No, they are
They're
their
separate.
own organization.
And that house is known for what? The famous murder that was there? Is that?
There was a famous murder, yes, but they are also Van Rensselaer, so all interrelated.
Oh, okay. And now, where is that?
It is in the south end. It's on, I think it's South Pearl
Oh,
Street.
okay. So the trolley be going back and forth.
Yes.
So how many people, this is your big opening event, do you usually have pretty big crowds?
Yeah, we get a couple hundred people without fail. It rains that Sunday every year, but we'll be there. We have a tent, so come on out and see
And I should
us.
say that all the events this day are free, right?
They are,
So you
yes.
can get the tour without paying. So what else goes on once this ends in May? You're open till October.
Yes.
What are some of the other events going on this I should say at the end, this will be on in the middle of it, but you're having a play there, Oscar
Yes.
Wilde's play, An Ideal Husband. It ends, I think, April 28th, so people may see this, they may still have a chance to go to that.
Yes.
Tell us about the uniqueness of that event, because
Sure.
I saw it.
Yes, so we are very lucky that we have good connections with local theater groups in our area, not just Northeast Theater Ensemble, who is putting on this play, but other groups as well. And their director is one of our trustees on our board, and she wanted to do this immersive theater experience in the mansion. So it's a very small audience size. You'll move through 3 different rooms in the house.
As the play goes on.
As the play goes on around you, you'll have...
It's almost like the audience is part of the play?
Almost, or you're almost a fly on the wall in those
Okay.
people's lives. And it sounds really interesting. I'm excited to see how
And
they'll
it says
do it.
here during the play, there's light fare, tea, and cocktails are served throughout the performance.
Yes.
And they'll be doing the Oscar Wilde play. And the seating is on the website. It isn't just limited. It says very limited.
Yes.
So you got to make sure you get the tickets through the theater ensemble or through you guys.
Yep, so you can actually go on our website and there's a link to Northeast, or you can go directly.
Or it's
to Northeast Theater.
northeasttheaterensemble.com. I noticed that in the past, didn't you have like a Shakespeare play outside?
We do, every August.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is there anything planned yet for that? Or?
Yes, that is Confetti Stage. They've been
Okay.
with us for a few years now, and we're doing Much Ado About Nothing.
That's not till August, though.
Yes, it's usually the first 2 weekends in
Now,
August.
do they do that plays outside?
We do.
Oh, okay. The plays.
Yes, rain or shine, we're very lucky. If it rains, we get to move inside, but we're having air conditioning installed
Oh, okay.
as we speak, so we'll have air conditioning inside this summer, which is so nice.
It'll be the first time in 200-something years. No air conditioning.
Exactly.
So you have some other events on June 1st, which is, I'm not sure what day of the week it is here.
It's a Saturday.
It is
I
a
think,
Saturday.
yes.
We're having a garden talk and tea, and people can come and learn to care about plants. Tell us about that event.
Sure. So our gardens are maintained by Cornell Cooperative Extension Master Gardeners. We're very, very thankful for them, keeping us looking beautiful. And this will be led by one of our gardeners, Pam Taft. She'll talk about perennial gardens and how to care for them and enjoy them. And after the presentation, which will be at the house, and you'll actually get to see some examples in our garden, we'll have some tea and refreshments.
So you're going to go around, she's going to give demonstrations on how to care for certain kinds of...
Yeah, I think it's a combined sit-down presentation with examples in our own garden.
Now, is your garden, the Ten Broeck Garden, is that a popular spot?
It is, yes. It's open 7 days a week from sunrise to sunset. You don't have to be there to see the mansion. We want people to come and enjoy the gardens.
Okay, so on these other days when you're open, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the other days people can just go in and walk?
Yeah.
They can go on the grounds?
They can go on the grounds, yes,
okay.
yeah.
So as part of your ongoing theme of prohibition, you're having a lecture. Let me get this out here. You're having a lecture on June 17th. The lecture is called Prohibition's Greatest Myths, the Distilled Truth About America's Anti-Alcohol Crusade. I know Albany has a storied history with prohibition and shady characters. So this is by Professor Richard F. Ham at SUNY Albany. What's this presentation about?
So as far as I know, he's going to explore some of the misconceptions people have about prohibition. He has a background in sort of the law side of it, but also a more, I guess you'd say, popular history version of prohibition, and you kind of talk about what's true, what isn't true, why do we think that way, and it should be really interesting.
Okay, when I'll just mention a couple other events if you want to comment on them. I mean, I know there's nothing yet where you can sign up, but every year you have the archaeology camp, which is for kids from 5th through 10th grade. And I know in the past we've talked about this. Obviously this has been going on for many years.
Yes, and we just opened registration.
Oh, you found? Okay, yes. I must have been looking at the website.
Yeah, very, very recently.
So the archaeology camp, so tell us what that is and what kids maybe learn. Sure. It's very practical, hands-on.
It is. It's led by a professional archaeologist from Hartgen, right over in Rensselaer, and they conduct a dig just like the professionals do. They use the same equipment, they learn the same techniques, and they get to find artifacts, which then are displayed at an open house at the end of the week, and they present their findings to their families.
Is the dig on your grounds, or didn't one year they go down to the Underground Railroad spot?
Yes, typically in the past we have done it at the Elkins residence site, which is part of the Underground Railroad History Project, but I think this year we will be digging on the Ten Broeck property because we haven't done that recently. So,
and what are some of the things they've come up with in the past?
Animal bones, medicine bottles, ceramics, and they get to go to the State Museum also and get a behind-the-scenes tour of the archaeology department and learn a little bit more about the things they've been finding.
So, and part of this, is part of it like a little bit of classroom stuff? Or?
Yes, it's like an outdoor classroom pretty much. It's a lot of fun. We've typically done it in July. This year we have had to move it to August. So for those who are looking for it in July, it will be in August this year.
Now this is going to be August 19th through 23rd. Now is that always a popular Because every year I see the pictures on them.
Yes, for the past few years it has sold out. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. People are just maybe starting to get really interested in archaeology or the word of mouth, because a
Yeah.
lot of people sign up with their friends and that sort of thing. So we're happy for that.
Now, on Sunday, July 21st, I'll give these guys a plug because they've been to our library many, many times. They're having a performance by Sonny and Pearlie.
Yes.
4 o'clock. I think they're doing, the Great American Songbook. They're always very good. Do they come every year down?
They have come in the past, but not every year.
Oh, okay.
I've actually never seen them perform,
they're
so I'm
excellent.
looking forward to it.
So, what are some? You have a lot of. Do you have a lot of musical events through the year? I mean, we're only sort of. I'm sure there's going to be more than just the events we're talking about. There's always stuff going on down there. Oh, okay.
A lot of our music happens in December during our holiday house.
Oh, in the Christmas time.
Yes,
Oh,
but we're
okay.
trying to do more concerts throughout the year.
Okay. So one thing that people might find interesting, you can rent the mansion for your event, or I think probably weddings would be popular. And there's information on the website, but why don't you tell me about, is that a popular thing? Does it get rented out? How many times a year would people rent it out?
I say probably 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
I think it's a very specific space.
Yeah.
You know, we don't provide food or setup or anything like that. You get the space and the chairs, and it's very DIY. You kind of get to make it
Okay.
your own, and it's of course a limited
So,
space.
but have there been many weddings there?
We've had a few. We had one this past December. We have
okay.
one coming up in September. So, but also celebrations of life, retirement parties, birthday parties. We've had them all.
Okay. And the one other thing I think is associated with the Albany County Historical Association, there's an exhibit. Now, is Kings Place Gallery, is that close by?
It is. It's on North Swan Street.
Now, this goes back to your theme of the 20s. There's an exhibit there. Is that going to be there all summer? Or?
It will open on May 5th.
Oh, May 5th,
Living
okay.
History Day, and it'll be up throughout the whole year.
And that is called Spirited Prohibition in Albany. Now, do you know anything about the exhibit that you can tell us? Or?
I can. This is our sort of first foray as a staff into co-writing an exhibit together.
Oh, okay.
We're very lucky that we had a wonderful intern over the winter who did a lot of the research, and we have a great intern now who's
Okay.
helping us with this. But it will focus on the history of Prohibition in Albany, why Prohibition happened, and what it meant for the people.
So
in the
is it
city.
like a regular photographs, paintings, objects? Or do you-
Yes,
a little bit
yes.
of, oh, okay.
Yep.
And you have big displays with writing and,
Yes.
well, it sounds like there's a lot going on.
There is.
You got Living History Day with reenactors and petting zoos and music. You have plays going on there. You have Sonny and Pearlie. You have archaeology. So it sounds like a lot is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been involved with the mansion?
I started in July of 2017.
All right, so you're still kind of new.
Yes, it feels like I haven't been there that long, but sometimes it feels like I've been there a long time too.
So a lot going on. So Sunday, May 5th is the opening of the season, noon to 4, Ten Broeck Mansion, 9 Ten Broeck Place. I think most people know it's up in that hill there behind the
Yes.
Palace Theater, well, 2 blocks up, kind
Yes.
of. All right, a little bit there. So, all right, thanks for coming,
Thank you for having me.
and we will see you next time on Getting to Know You.